Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And I have another diamond in the rough for you guys to meet. His name is Cory McLellan. He is a safety out of Colorado State-Pueblo. Nice to have you on, sir.
Right on. Happy to be here.
So, didn't exactly plan on pairing red with you, but that's just kind of how it worked out today. So a little bit of twin action happening. But hey, Cory, obviously CSU Pueblo in the RMAC of Division Two, you guys have been able to really put together some solid teams over the past few seasons, and you yourself obviously being the safety there who's been a fixture for a very long time. So I want to go ahead and just share your story, man. So go ahead and start us out and tell us where you're from.
Cool. So I'm from Colorado Springs, Colorado. Went to Palm Ridge High School. Graduated in 2018, and then went down to Pueblo.
Cool.
First
So
year there.
go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Keep going.
Keep going. Okay. So first year, graduated 2018. Got down there the year 2018-2019 season. I redshirted my first year. And then my second year there, ended up playing. I was in the first couple games. I was just playing in the dime package, so passing situations they throw me in. And then the third game of the season, our starting safety got hurt, so I got my opportunity and to made the most of it. I went in. That game was against Colorado School of Mines, week 3. And then the week right after, we played the number one offense in the nation, Texas A&M Commerce, and I had a great game. And I got that role, got the trust from my teammates, and rolled through it. In 2019, that season, we went to the playoffs. We got knocked out in the second round. We won the first round against Augustana. Uh, Good season. It was the most successful season I had there. The So let's see. The summer after that season was my coach Leo Mitty. He passed away, and after that, my next 3 or 4 years there was just a lot going on. Like that COVID was in the middle of that. I had just a bunch of different coaching changes. I think I had a different defensive coordinator each year that I played there. So, I had a lot of thoughts going on in my head about, maybe leaving or if this was, the best situation for me. But, I just kind of stuck it out, and I felt like that was my home, and I felt like it was the place that I needed to be. Coach Leo had a big impact on me as a person and me as a football player, and thinking about leaving that, and leaving that kind of the knowledge and the wisdom that I attained from him, just taking that away from CSU Pueblo just felt wrong to me. So I stuck it out, and you know uh tried to keep that DB room intact and keep the culture intact, and stuck it out, and I'm glad I did. This last season was the worst season I had there. We didn't make the playoffs. Actually, it wasn't the worst season, but it's difficult to like accept, but at the same time, I feel like it was God's calling for me to stay there and just kind of maintain the culture and the tradition of that place, and Coach Leo's teachings and stuff to try and keep it at home at CSU Pueblo. So it was a wild journey, but I'm happy with how it went out, and that's just kind of a summary of how it went.
Yeah, obviously, you were there for quite a while. Again, you come in, you're redshirting, a lot of other things are going on, and then of course, tragedy hits. Um, you know, uh, coach passed away, and then of course, COVID, like you said. I mean, that's obviously affecting everybody. And then these past few seasons, man, it's just been a whirlwind for you guys. A little bit of I don't know. You are seeing some success, but if it's any consolation, the team that's like at the top, who's representing you guys, is going pretty darn far in the playoffs. If that is again, if that's any consolation at all, I mean, you're obviously playing against some top competition there in your conference. So
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
uh,
Not really rooting for those guys necessarily, but once
no,
we're out of the picture, I want the RMAC to win at the end of the day. They're representing all of our schools, so they did end up having going very far in the playoffs for 2 years in a row, and they're an impressive team. They were a good team.
Gotcha. Again, we're talking about minds, but I don't want to talk about them. I want to talk about you.
Okay, right on, right on.
So let's go back, and I want to touch just briefly on some of your history. First off, Cory, how long have you been playing football?
Long time, long time. I've been playing since as soon as I could put pads on and start playing tackle football. So I guess that's fourth grade. A long time.
Okay,
Yeah.
solid, solid. So have you always played defense, or how's that working for you?
Uh, yeah. I played offense for a long time. I played running back when I was real little. I had a 2 or 3 year span where I went to quarterback, and then in high school I played with a really good quarterback. He was an elite 11 quarterback, and I was playing receiver, and that was actually where I was getting a lot of. I had a couple D1 looks, and they were all walk on spots for receiver actually.
Interesting.
And when I was getting recruited by Coach Leo to come to Pueblo, I could have played defense or offense, but he's a defensive coordinator, obviously, so he didn't really give me much of a choice. He said I'm playing DB, and I was cool with that. They got a good culture of defensive backs, and I fit right in.
So it wasn't really much of a coin flip. It was always going to be, on in the defensive backfield somewhere. So
Yes,
cool.
sir.
And then again, you had mentioned what is it? Palmer Ridge High School is where you went to high school, of course. Obviously playing football, but also participated in some basketball and track and field. So um, of course, I mean, I don't know what you feel about those other sports, but you ultimately decided to go with football. And so I guess the question is why? And I'm assuming that is because you love football more than those other two. So, what is it that you love so much about football?
I would have to say it's the ultimate team sport, and it's kind of a generic answer, but it's the most it's the closest thing that you can kind of resemble to like war, I guess, in a way. Like there's and I don't know if that it's a little wild, but in terms of back in the day when people would go to war, they'd meet in the field and have their bows and arrows and swords, and they just charge at each other. That's kind of how I look at a football field. You get a collective group on one side and a collective group on another side, and they're kind of just battling it out, and it's the ultimate test of a man and dedication in the off season, and all that stuff comes to play in the fall, and it's just you know another thing is the brotherhood and those guys. There's the bonds that you make on those fields, and with those guys is just there's nothing that you can relate to. There's no other sport in the world like it. So that's where my love from football comes.
Gotcha. And of course, talking about the brotherhood, the camaraderie, of course, which obviously you were able to gain during your time there with CSU Pueblo. So let's go ahead and start talking about your team, man. So, of course, you're the safety there. Took you a couple of years to get that starting role, but you did. And so you've been a starter now for, oh, I don't know, for a few years, give or take that one COVID year that everyone wants
Right.
to forget. so,
Yeah.
um, how would you describe your defense and your role in it?
Our defense is I would always describe it as the backbone of our team. Um, whenever we're in a rough game and we needed some momentum, we got it from our defense. Uh, our defense has always been the side of the ball that sets the tone for the game. Um, and I guess the way I would describe it is just relentless. Like whatever is getting thrown at us, we're never going to give up. We're never going to change our identity and who we are. We believe in our coaches and our players and our culture there, and we're just gritty dudes, and we want to get after the ball relentlessly. So
And of course, your role as a safety. Um, uh, Talk to me a little bit about your overall experience. I mean, are you playing single high? Are you coming down in the box? Like, are you the guy calling the plays? Like, what is your role overall and your overall experience?
like I said, we had a lot of coaching changes there, a lot of defensive coordinator changes. So I got the opportunity to play in a lot of different systems, a lot of different schemes. My first year there, we played a lot of quarters, so we had a two high shell. and it was more match cover four. So man and zone schemes depending on what kind of routes you see. And then the year after that, we were a heavy cover three team, so single high, rolling one of the safeties down into the flats. Um, and then we went back to the cover four, a lot of cover one as well. I played with another really good safety, Daniel Bone, and we were rocking back and forth with cover one. We can both play man to man and over the top. I like being in cover one. I pride myself a little bit on being able to cover a lot of the field, going sideline to sideline on numbers and numbers, and having a lot of fun with that. And then this last year, we were a lot of cover three as well. So single high.
So again, you had mentioned you take pride in your ability to cover some ground there as
Yeah.
a safety, which if you are that one guy who's sort of the last line of defense, not necessarily a bad thing because again you again mentioned that that's one of the things that you pride in doing. So
Yeah.
do you think that that's the best thing you have going for you as a prospect, as a player who's trying to get to the next level?
One of the best things I have would be that I can cover a lot of space. I'm long. I can move, and I'm good at reading the quarterback. I'm good at understanding the flow of the game and where they're trying to get the ball, where they're trying to attack us on. Um, you know, when it's cover one and you're just the single high safety over the top, you gotta just kind of have a sense for the game, gotta have good instincts and be aware where the ball is going. So, if one of our guys gets beat, I'm the guy over the top to make sure that play doesn't turn into a touchdown or whatever the case is. But yeah, definitely that I can cover a lot of ground. And also just I feel like I have a good IQ. I understand football schemes. I understand, you know, when how different concepts are trying to attack a defense and where the weaknesses of a defense are. Because at the end of the day, you can only do so much with how big the field is. There's a weakness in every coverage that you run. So understanding where that weakness is and being able to mitigate that is something that I would say is one of my top things as well.
Gotcha. Obviously, you have to understand the game well enough so that you can adjust accordingly. So I definitely feel what you're trying to say there. Um, Corey, been able to really put together a solid resume. You've been an all-conference athlete. You've been really one of the leaders there in your secondary for quite some time. Talk about some of the highlights, man, of your career, whether that be a particular game or even a play that sticks out for you. So, talk about maybe one of your best memories.
One of my best memories was probably be my redshirt freshman year. It was I talked about it a little bit earlier. So the third game is when I came in for our injured safety, played and kind of got some respect from my team, from my coaches there. And then the very next game, we went up against the number one offense in the nation, like against Texas A&M Commerce, and I had a great game on that game. I didn't get player of the game because we had a dude in our team who had like 4 sacks, 3 TFLs, and but I had a good game. I think I had 8 tackles. I had 2 PBUs, and like I said, it was against the number one team in the nation. So as a young guy, I think I was 19 when I played in that game. It was a big deal, being able to contribute for a program like that and for teammates and seniors that I looked highly upon. So that'd probably be one of the highlights of my career for sure is that game.
Well, I mean, definitely cool to be able to go out there. I know you're a redshirt freshman, but you're still young, and you're going
Yeah,
out there and you're playing, like you said, against the top, team in the nation at that particular time. And it's kind of like one of those, I don't know, moments where like something clicks, and you're like, you know what, I can play this game. So,
right. Yeah, and we
and
ended up winning too. So that was a big deal. They're the number four team in the nation, number one offense in the nation. We ended up winning, so it was a big win for us that season.
that's great, man. I mean, when did it really click for you that maybe you could do this? Play this game at the next level. Like, do you think it was back then, or maybe further along the story?
Yeah, yeah, I'd say it was probably that year that I kind of gained the confidence and just understanding that everyone playing at the college level is the best player at their high school that they came from, and if I'm excelling against guys at this level, I can this isn't this isn't my ceiling. I feel like it's, you know, I could go wherever I want to go with it.
Gotcha. Um, let's take a moment to just sort of reflect a little bit. I mean, you come in there. I guess 2018 you were red shirt. You eventually played in 2019, and then up until now, of course, you know you are a prospect. So, what do you think is the major change? You know, you coming in as a young guy, as a kid. Let's just be real
Yeah.
up until now, what do you think's changed the most about you as an athlete?
As an athlete, I've put weight on. Um, the biggest thing that I would say that has changed for me from then is, like I said, my physique has gotten bigger. Like when I played that season, I was playing at 185 and just kind of like an ankle biter, taking them out below the knees, getting them down however I can. And now I put some weight on, kind of, you know, grown into my build, and I can lay some wood now. Coming downhill in the box, and I play a lot of free safety, so I'm running around, but I can come down in the box and make plays too, whether that's setting an edge on a big tight end or a pulling tackle or whatever it is. I'm physical in the run game, um, and then also just understanding where my help is, just understanding defensive scheme more rather than just being absorbed with what my assignment is. I'm understanding what my assignment is, but I'm also understanding where I have help to. So just being able to play within a scheme and understanding where my help is, and how our defense is trying to shut them down is uh, that's been my biggest growth, has been the maturity from an IQ level about the game.
Gotcha. And again, just wanted to highlight that uh, right now you're at about 6'2", 195, which is a pretty solid size for a guy, playing your position. So definitely great. Gives you the ability to be a little bit more forceful in your tackling and your approach to ball carriers. So like that, about you as a prospect. Cory, do you want to take some time and talk about something that's not football for a minute? So, anything about you that you think people really need to know, whether that's your hobbies, interests, other passions in life, if you have any special talents, or anything else that you think other people might find interesting. So,
Okay,
talk a little bit about something else.
okay. Something is interesting is as we talked about, in high school, I played basketball and I love basketball, and I stay around the game as much as I can. So right now, while I'm training, I'm working part time at a basketball gym, just training some kids ages from elementary school to early high school or middle school, and just trying to give back to the game in any way I can there. So that's something I think is interesting. Is I love basketball, super into the NBA. That's really cool. And then I guess something else is I just had a son last month, in
Nice,
January.
congrats.
Yep. Thank you, and he's been awesome. We're about 3 weeks into. He's not even 3 weeks old yet, so my nights are long and just trying to figure out how to train and stay focused with this football stuff while obviously having one of the biggest parts of my life being brought into the world. And it's been awesome. It's been a great journey, and I love him, and it's been good.
Cool. A couple other quick things just to kind of follow along with what we were talking about or what you've talked about. Uh, big basketball fan, I take it. You got a favorite team or favorite player you like to follow?
Nuggets. Yeah, Nugget. I'm from Colorado, so I'm a big Nuggets fan, and we just won the national championship, or not the national championship, the NBA Finals last year, and I'm a big Jokic fan. I read a lot into like the advanced statistics and how efficient he is when he's on the court, and how good their team is when he's on the court as opposed to when he's not. And it's very interesting learning about how effective he is as a basketball player.
Cool. So, fan of the local teams, I suppose. I mean, with everything else, perhaps. I mean, a guy, Colorado guy goes to a Colorado school, uh, obviously, cheers for the Colorado professional teams. Um, I was just thinking, I mean, of course, with you being more or less local, What's the farthest you've ever been from home?
Furthest I've ever been from home. Never been out of the country. I've been to New York City. That's probably actually I've been to Alaska. I've been to Alaska, so that's probably the furthest I've ever been. That was awesome. I was visiting my cousins. They're military, so they're out there in Alaska. That was a really good experience. But yeah, I haven't been out of the country. I'm going to Mexico this year, so got
Nice.
to get my passport and got to get my little man his passport. So figuring that out. But yeah,
Definitely nice to be able to say that you're going to be in Mexico,
yeah,
being able to kind of check one off your bucket list. So
exactly. Yeah, finally
uh,
getting out of the country.
love that. Anything more that you want to share, just in general, like about you, special talents, hobbies, anything of that sort? I mean, you've listed a lot, but anything else?
Um, None I can think of, man. I think that's it.
Gotcha. Well, we're at the stage now where we're just going to wrap up our time. I mean, obviously, man, we're speaking to each other under the platform of you trying to get to the next level, you trying to, you know, really reach out to some scouts and get them interested so that hopefully you get that opportunity here very soon. So, as we wrap up shop, go ahead and talk to those people directly and tell them why you would make a great addition. So, hit them with your pitch and close us out.
What I would say to sell myself and why I belong on a team would be that I'm an ultimate team player, not a me guy. Really just bought into the success of whatever organization is. I love to compete. I love to win football games. So that's the big thing. Whatever I have to do, whatever position I have to play, whatever role I have on the team, whatever it is, I just want to win football games. Um, and I'm really committed to this stuff, and I'm understanding the benefits of today's football game. And I'll watch more film than I'll watch more film than the coaches. I'll understand all of the opposing team's schemes and understand all of their players' strengths and weaknesses. And that's probably my biggest strength that I have is I'm really dedicated to going into a game prepared and doing whatever I have to do to come out with the W.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I mean, I know that you guys haven't had like the best success in the world, but of course, going through several different coaches, but I think some of that might necessarily be a bad thing because I mean, you having to learn separate terminology, separate playbooks. I mean, really helps somewhat, show people that you can learn, different schemes. And one of the things that we talked about is, you positioned yourself so that you can be any type of safety, any type of DB that a team wants. I mean, you do have some great size to work with, and really a whole lot of other things too, man. Very unselfish leader who's able to go out there and compete. So, uh, Cory, just want to wish you very best of luck in this process. I know you're training for a pro day and all of that. So, best of luck with everything you got going on. And uh, again, take care, bud.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. Cory McLellan, safety out of Colorado State Pueblo. Check this guy out.